Welcome back to Narrations. Natasha Romanoff has spent her entire life running from her past. She became an assassin. She became an avenger. She fought beside heroes who eventually became her family. But there is one chapter of her life she never wanted to revisit. Before she was Black Widow, she was a young girl named Natasha. And before she became an avenger, she belonged to a family that wasn't really a family at all. Now, after the events of Captain America Civil War, Natasha is on the run. And the secrets she buried years ago are coming back. The story begins in Ohio in 1995. A young Natasha Romanoff lives with her younger sister, Yelena. Their parents appear to be Alexei and Yelena. From the outside, they look like an ordinary family. They eat dinner together. They joke around. The girls play. But there is something Natasha doesn't know. Her father, Alexei Shostakov, is actually a Russian super soldier known as the Red Guardian. And her mother, Melina Vostokov, is a scientist working for the mysterious Red Room. The family is only pretending to be normal. They are spies. One night, everything changes. Alexei tells the family they need to leave immediately. They rush to an airfield. Their mission has been compromised. Natasha and Yelena are confused. They don't understand why their parents are acting so desperately. A plane takes off. American authorities chase them. The family escapes Ohio and reaches Cuba. But their escape has a terrible consequence. Natasha and Yelena are separated. They are taken away from their parents. And the two sisters are sent to the Red Room. The Red Room is a secret organization created by General Dreykov. Its purpose is horrifying. Young girls are kidnapped and trained to become assassins. They are taught to fight, to manipulate, to obey, and most importantly, to forget their own identities. Natasha and Yelena are turned into Black Widows. Their childhood is taken from them. Years later, Natasha becomes one of the Red Room's greatest assassins. But she eventually escapes. She joins S.H.I.E.L.D. and later becomes an Avenger. She helps stop Loki, fights alongside Captain America, survives Ultron, and becomes one of the world's most respected heroes. But she has never forgotten the Red Room, especially Dreykov. The story moves to the period immediately following Captain America Civil War. Natasha is now wanted by the authorities. She has violated the Sokovia Accords and fought alongside Steve Rogers. The Avengers have split apart. Natasha is hiding. She is trying to disappear. But then, a mysterious package arrives. Inside is a small container holding a strange red substance. And with it comes a message. Someone wants Natasha to know that the Red Room is still operating. Natasha follows the clues. She discovers that the Red Room is still active. Even after all these years, Dreykov is alive. And he has created an army of Black Widows. Natasha is determined to destroy it. But she soon learns that the person who sent her the package is Yelena, her younger sister. Natasha and Yelena reunite. But their relationship is complicated. They haven't seen each other in years. Yelena is angry. She believes Natasha abandoned her. Natasha tries to explain that she was also a victim. They were both taken. Both manipulated. Both turned into weapons. But Yelena doesn't want excuses. She wants freedom. Yelena explains what happened. The Black Widows aren't simply trained assassins. They are controlled through chemical manipulation. The Red Room uses a special process to remove their ability to resist orders. Once a widow is controlled, she cannot disobey. Yelena has discovered a way to break the control. The red substance Natasha received is an antidote. It can free the widows. But Dreykov will do anything to get it back. Natasha and Yelena need help. Unfortunately, the only people who might understand the Red Room are the two people who raised them. Alexei and Melina. Alexei is now imprisoned in a Russian facility. He was once the Red Guardian, a Soviet super soldier created to rival Captain America. But unlike Steve Rogers, Alexei has become bitter and out of shape. He spends his days boasting about his past. He constantly talks about fighting Captain America. Whether his stories are completely true is another question. Natasha and Yelena break Alexei out. The reunion is awkward. Alexei is thrilled to see his daughters. Yelena is not impressed. She still remembers the family they pretended to be, and she resents Alexei for abandoning them. But Natasha knows they need him. He can help them find Melina. The group travels to Melina's farm. Melina is still working for the Red Room. At first, Natasha believes her mother may betray them. But Melina has secretly developed her own plan. She has spent years studying the Red Room, and she knows exactly where Dreykov is hiding. Melina explains that Dreykov no longer operates from a fixed location. The Red Room is hidden high above the earth. A massive airborne facility. It moves constantly. And it contains countless Black Widows. Natasha realizes that destroying the Red Room will require more than killing Dreykov. They need to free every widow. But before they can act, Melina reveals something shocking. The Natasha standing in front of them isn't actually Natasha. It is Yelena. Melina has used advanced facial technology to disguise Yelena as Natasha. Meanwhile, the real Natasha has taken Melina's appearance. The two sisters have switched identities. Their plan is to infiltrate the Red Room. Natasha enters the Red Room disguised as Melina. Yelena is taken to the facility. Alexei is captured too. Everything appears to be going according to Dreykov's plan. But Natasha has one final target. General Dreykov. The man responsible for destroying her childhood. The man who turned her and Yelena into weapons. The man she has spent years trying to forget. Now, she is finally coming for him. Natasha Romanoff has finally returned to the place where her nightmare began. The Red Room. The organization that stole her childhood. The place that turned Natasha and Yelena into assassins. And the place where General Dreykov still controls an army of Black Widows. But Natasha isn't there to run anymore. She's there to destroy it. Natasha infiltrates the Red Room disguised as Melina. Yelena has been captured and brought to the facility. Alexei is there too. And Dreykov believes he has finally captured Natasha Romanoff. But Natasha has planned everything. She wants to get close enough to Dreykov to kill him. There is only one problem. Years ago, Natasha tried to kill Dreykov. She believed she succeeded. But she was wrong. Dreykov survived. And he changed his security system. He discovered that Natasha had one weakness. Her emotions. Specifically, her connection to his daughter. Dreykov's daughter, Antonia, was once caught in the middle of Natasha's attempt to assassinate her father. Natasha was willing to sacrifice Antonia to reach Dreykov. The explosion severely injured the young girl. Dreykov survived. But Antonia was left horribly scarred. He turned her into another weapon. She became Taskmaster. A fighter capable of watching someone's movements and immediately copying their fighting style. Taskmaster can imitate Captain America's shield techniques, Black Panther's movements, Hawkeye's archery, and Black Widow's combat skills. Dreykov has transformed his daughter into a weapon. Natasha confronts Dreykov. She attacks him. But something strange happens. She can't hurt him. Every time she tries, her body refuses. Dreykov explains why. He has implanted a pheromone-based security system. Every Black Widow carries the scent of the person who controls them. If a widow gets too close to Dreykov, her brain automatically prevents her from attacking him. Natasha finally understands why she couldn't kill him years ago. But she refuses to accept defeat. Natasha discovers a way around the pheromone. She deliberately smashes her own nose against the table. The injury disrupts her sense of smell. Now the pheromone no longer affects her. She attacks Dreykov. The fight becomes brutal. Dreykov is no longer the untouchable commander he pretended to be. Natasha beats him. But Dreykov escapes. And now the entire Red Room is on alert. Meanwhile, Yelena is fighting to free the other Black Widows. She distributes the antidote. One by one, the widows begin breaking free from Dreykov's control. For the first time, they realize they are not prisoners anymore. They can make their own choices. They can choose their own lives. They can fight back. Alexei also joins the fight. He finally gets the opportunity he has always dreamed about. He fights Taskmaster. At first, Alexei is excited. He believes he's finally facing an opponent worthy of the Red Guardian. But Taskmaster is far more powerful. Alexei is quickly overwhelmed. Yelena saves him. The family continues fighting together. Natasha discovers something heartbreaking. Taskmaster is Antonia, Dreykov's daughter. The child Natasha believed she had killed. Natasha realizes that Antonia has been forced to live as a weapon. She isn't the enemy. She is another victim. Natasha frees her using the antidote. Antonia finally regains control over her own body. The Red Room begins collapsing. Natasha and Yelena try to rescue the remaining widows. The entire facility is falling out of the sky. Buildings explode. Aircraft crash. The widows escape. But Natasha is separated from Yelena. She falls through the burning wreckage. For a moment, it looks like she is going to die. But Natasha survives. She lands on the ground and looks up. The Red Room is finally destroyed. The remaining Black Widows leave with Yelena. They are no longer assassins controlled by Dreykov. They are free. Alexei and Yelena also survive. But the family understands that their relationship will never be simple. They were brought together as spies. They were separated as children. And they spend years carrying the damage caused by the Red Room. But now, they have a chance to choose what happens next. Natasha says goodbye to Yelena. The sisters have finally become a real family. Yelena gives Natasha a small vest. It becomes important later in Natasha's life. Natasha leaves to help Steve Rogers and the other Avengers. She is still wanted by the authorities. But she is no longer running from her past. She has finally confronted it. The movie then jumps forward. Natasha is preparing to reunite with the Avengers. She has another mission. She has another fight ahead of her. And eventually, she will face Thanos. She will travel to Vormir. She will make the ultimate sacrifice. But she doesn't know that yet. The story ends with Natasha flying away. She has destroyed the Red Room, freed the widows, saved Yelena, and confronted the man responsible for her childhood. But Natasha's story continues. Then comes the post-credits scene. Yelena visits Natasha's grave. She is still grieving. She stands quietly beside her sister. Then someone approaches. Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. She tells Yelena that she knows who is responsible for Natasha's death. She shows Yelena a photograph. Clint Barton. Hawkeye. Valentina tells Yelena that he caused Natasha's death. Yelena believes her. She looks at the photograph. And the next chapter begins. Black Widow is ultimately a story about family, trauma, and freedom. Natasha spent years believing that the Red Room was part of who she was. She believed the people she hurt were simply consequences of becoming an assassin. But when she reunites with Yelena, she remembers who she was before the Red Room. A sister. A daughter. A person. Yelena represents the part of Natasha that was lost. The younger sister Natasha couldn't protect. And this time, Natasha refuses to abandon her. She risks everything to free Yelena and the other widows. Because Natasha finally understands something. The Red Room may have made her a weapon, but it never owned her. Natasha Romanoff's story ultimately ends with sacrifice. She gives her life on Vormir so Clint can return home to his family. She dies believing that she has saved the people she loves. But Black Widow shows us the woman behind the superhero. The girl who was taken. The sister who was separated from her family. the assassin who became an avenger, and finally, the hero who chose her own family. If you enjoyed listening to this narration, please like, share, and subscribe for more movie stories. I'll see you in the next one.